Let me tell you a story. It was the 15th of March, 1995. I'm sitting, working away in my office. Well, sitting with the feet up in my office. Up at the garage then, and in walks Tam Coyle, a good friend who helped me start out with the Cat House many, many years before. And Elliot Davis, who I'd never met, who was the manager of Wet, Wet, Wet. And they were wondering if the garage was free that night and if they could put on Prince, or if I could put on Prince. And what, the purple one? Yep. I was like, well, he wants to play the garage. Aye, right. But yeah, he did. He wanted a gig. He wanted to play in Glasgow after the show at the SEC, which was sold out, 10,000 there. And so it was a no-brainer. Aye, let's go for it. Right, what do we need to do? All right, well, we need to pay him 15 grand cash on the night, and the gear would be getting loaded in after. But that, you know, I'm thinking, wait a minute, we need to get this advertised, we need to book PA, we need to book lights, we need to, we need to get the message out there. How am I going to do that in 6 hours? So it was all hands to the decks, all hands to the phones. I mean, bear in mind, there's no mobile phones in, there's no email, there's no, your computer's worth a note back then. So it was very much trying to get the message out word of mouth. So on one hand, you're trying to phone, get a PA company, another, a lighting company, road crew, get it in, and you're still not quite convinced 100% that he's actually even going to turn up or this is on. And on the other hand, you're saying, well, look, who do we phone, you know, to get the message out? So Evening Times and Radio Clyde were two of them. And, you know, we started the story, we started getting the message out there in the street, and that the wee purple one was coming, and slowly but surely things clicked into place. So as that's all evolving, then his security arrived, his tour manager just checked the venue to check it's right for them, and that gave me a lot of confidence. Yes, this show is going to happen. And but at the same point, they're going, you know, well, Moaning Road, he wants this dressing room, he might want the balcony. You didn't know what he wanted, but you did know he wanted a lot of Stolly vodka. And again, we just continued, you know, with the show, processing the show, getting the staff in. Back then, you had to phone up. As I say, no mobiles, no computers. We don't know how many we expect. Though we hope to get about 800, and that was the target. So you have to have enough bar staff and all that, and for that. Then once the stage is set up, the lights are in place, the crew are, as I say, there's an empty hall. There is nothing on the stage. There's no band, and we're just drumming our finger and getting slightly nervous. And I think it would be about 10:30 at night. A wee queue just started to form outside the garage. The queue starts to build up. And we go, oh yeah, this is happening. Bigger and bigger. We have to open the doors. We have to let them in. They come in into the hall. And they're now standing there. Nobody on the stage. No gear, no nothing. Just looking at an empty stage as we're playing some, daft sounds in the back. And begin to shit ourselves. We go, oh God, what if he doesn't turn up? Oh no, what are we going to do? And this wait seemed to go on for like years. Oh, Christ. Then the back door opens. The security come in. Yahoo. Big, huge, black, powerful guys with radio mics in their sleeve. I don't know how to put them in their sleeve. They'll talk to each other like, and they come out and go, right. And they would say to the crowd, okay, we will take the balcony. We want the whole balcony. No problem. When's the band arrive? They'll be arriving soon. And in no uncertain terms, do you speak to him as call him by Prince. You call him either artist formerly known as or symbol. I'm like, what? I'll call him in the fucking one if I'm paying him 15 fucking grand, right? So that's the bottom line there, But no, You do not do no conversations unless we tell you to speak to him and unless he wants to speak to you. Fair enough, but where is he? He's no there. He said he'll be on his way. Then the gear starts to come in. And that was, it was like, wow. But the crowd are all going, why this look? There's Hammond organ, your drum kit, everything slowly starts to build up. And so does the excitement in the room. And my nerves by this point are just falling apart. The gear comes in, builds up, then the band walk in. Now the band looked like $1 million. And there seemed to be about 30 of them, but it was the band and their entourage. Still no Prince. And so he comes up. So they fell all the way up to the balcony, start scoffing into the riders and like, where's the wee man? Where is he? Well, the security comes up and goes, damn, we're going to bring him in the front door because everybody's in the hall. Bring him in the back door. A riot could ensue. And we're like, that makes sense. Of course, we want that. And all prepared for that. So we're all waiting at the front door for this sort of big limo, or Bentley, purple it was, coming up. And it didn't arrive. The wee shite had arrived round the back door and then decided to come in the back door while everybody's in the hall, while the gear's still getting set up, and walk across the stage. And we are hearing up the stairs, looking at the security, what fucking dumpling you are. And the wee man trips over the drum riser and he takes a button and was like, pfft. So eventually grab him, the crowd are going mental. We grab him, take him off, take him round by the bar, and then downstairs, and the crowd are surging to get near him. And it's like, wow. Get him up to the balcony, and there he's put and sat down. Yes, the atmosphere's building up, the band are on the balcony. The crowd are going mental. The wee man's upstairs with them. And that's when the security comes up, in time. Really, my nerves, I've never had them so jangly in my life. And everybody's, please, when's he going on? When is he fucking going to go on? And of course, it had already been told that it's not going to be like a complete Prince set. It's going to be Prince and the New Power generation. But this was a cracker because as time is getting on, it's now 1 o'clock, then 1:15. The security comes up and said, well, the artist formerly known as would like paid. And I said, well, 15,000, when's he going on? There's no guarantee he's going to go on. I said, that'll be fucking right. He says, no way, you're going to die with me, by the way, and so is he going to die unless he gets paid, unless he goes on that stage. And there's this sort of standoff. I cannot guarantee that. So I just hedged my bets at that point because, if I don't pay him the money, he's definitely not going to go in. And if I pay him the money and he doesn't go in, hey, we're all going to die and lose our license in the garage and all sorts of things would be happening. So I go and sit down. I'm told again not to speak to him. I'll call him, not to call him Prince, but artist formerly known as a symbol. So I sit down with the money, give it to him and say, you going to count it? He goes, no. So sit there with 15 grand in front of him, not going to count it. Security come up, take it away, and then we're standing like that, looking at him. When are you going on? Well, it gets to 2 o'clock in the morning, and we're like that. Oh no, it's going to kick off because the crowd are beginning to get really agitated as we are. And I'm, thinking, right, well, I'm not going to get my head kicked in here. I'm just looking for an exit. But the band get up. I just remember, just super looking guys and girls. They get up and they make their way down to the stage. And then start tuning the instruments. And the crowd at this point really going for it. And they just started jamming away. And it sounded brilliant. Then the wee man gets up with the security. He's taken down and goes on stage. Fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, it was like watching a modern day, if you could be Amadeus or something, Mozart. The guy, what a genius, what a player. You're just blown away. Being able to stand there and there's a wee man looking about 100 feet tall. and just going for it, and the crowd just went ecstatic. That was all these years ago, 1995. Wow. There was one hilarious bit though during that show, and I'll never forget, was when Prince's girlfriend and long-term partner, it turns out, she was part of the backing troupe. Well, she staggers up to the front of the stage and dives into the crowd. And we're like, huh! Well, much to the delight of every male audience in that crowd, because they're all trying to put their hands up in some dodgy places and grab her and all it. Well, she just quickly wheeked off the stage. I don't think she came back on after that. See, when you left, this car came round to pick him up at the front door. We had to keep the crowd in. And the roller or whatever it was purple anyway, drives right past the front door of the garage. And Suckyall Street was one way, this bit was one way at the time. He had to then reverse down to the front door. Cars, and I always remember him running out to open the door, and the door obviously had a child lock on it because he's wee, and his hand kept slipping. And a wee guy in the chippy across the road just standing with a kebab going, "Oh, Prince, can you not open the door, man? What's wrong with you? Like that. Eventually he gets the door open, jumps in the car, and then he's off. And it's now the stuff of legend, that, you know, and what a gig it made the garage. It gave us a sort of iconic status. It cemented credentials as being a live venue, and we've not looked back since. So thank you, Prince, if you're listening up there or down there, wherever you are. Cheers, wee man.
Glasgow!